Hello again, everybody. Zacatech is here with my WWE Raw review for this Monday, July 16, 2018, from Buffalo, New York. The aftermath of Extreme Rules and the world of SummerSlam officially begins. Now, as I said last week, for those who missed it, I did not make an Extreme Rules review last night. I didn't watch it till very late. I went to a rock concert on Sunday night. Foreigner at Python. So, it was a good concert. And I did see Extreme Rules now. A lot of mixed reviews. And I thought Extreme Rules was okay. Some people are calling it the worst pay-per-view of the year. Backlash was worse. So, during the Raw segments, I'll be giving you my thoughts on the matches. If I was to have reviewed it, I probably would have given it a 6.5. There's maybe like one or two really good matches. And not too extreme like the last couple of years. It's been an excuse. Not a lot of extremeness. I did not see any of the pre-show. I'll give you my short term on the SmackDown matches that happened. We had Carmella and Asuka. That was fucking silly. I love Asuka, but man, I think the barrier. Ellsworth was in a shark cage. We all knew he was gonna fucking do something silly, and he did. He got hung up, and he helped Carmella retain. Then United States Championship match was the only big disappointment. Hardy and Shinsuke went like 5 seconds after Nakamura low-blowed Hardy before the match even started. And he won in 5 seconds. Owen returned. Owen's heel. Yay! And then we're going to get a rematch. Really? You had like a shitty 5-second rematch. A 5-second match on the pay-per-view to sell a rematch on SmackDown? Stupid. But hey, Hardy's injured. So I'm happy Shinsuke's a champion after losing a match with AJ. Then Team Unknown, man, so much for the comeback. You know what I mean? They were booked so well. And then they were taken out early before the match in a pre-show beatdown with the Bludgeon Brothers. Kane didn't even work half the match. He wore a walkie boot when he came out. I love the brought back Pyro for that one segment on SmackDown last week, so yay for that. But Bludgeon's retained. I liked AJ Rusev. Rusev looked great in there. We all know he was going to lose, but guess what? He looked good in there. Crowd was good for that match for the most part before they shot on the main event, which I'll address in a bit. So, but AJ retained. We may get Samoa Joe and AJ at SummerSlam. Who would have thought? Two former TNA guys in a big match at SummerSlam. Amazing. And a lot happened over the weekend. Extreme Rules. Hulk Hogan's back in the company's good graces. I will not delve in. He did a bad thing, but he's trying to owe up for it. Maybe he wants his job back, but hey, some people are forgiving him. Others aren't so forgiving for Hogan coming back. Ring of Honor's an MSG. Awesome. Already lifted the block. That's cool. And NXT War Games 2 is in Los Angeles. Yeah, I love War Games and NXT. So on to War tonight, and I thought War coming off of Extreme Rules was a decent little show. Some hits and misses. You had two really good triple threat matches that were set up in the evening to set up the world for Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. Despite the rumors flying around, the rumor and innuendo about Brock Lesnar not showing up at SummerSlam and not defending his title, he needs to fucking lose. We need a part-time champion no longer. We need a full-time champion. Even if it's fucking Super Reigns. You know what? But anyway. When he's not too busy making appearances at UFC, maybe he can defend his fucking Universal title. But I love Angle made a proclamation, an ultimatum on the Extreme Rules show saying that Lesnar, storyline-wise, we read the backstage dirt sheets that Lesnar would be at SummerSlam, but the storyline setup was that on Raw, either Lesnar appears or negotiates with his lawyers for his next title match, or he's stripped of the title. Because we were supposed to get a multi-man match, and Extreme Rules that never happened to feed up the storyline or reality of Lesnar working SummerSlam, but he is. So Lesnar's associate, his advocate, should I say, Paul Heyman came out instead of Lesnar. And with Angle pressing the subject, saying that Lesnar's not here, strip him of the title. And Heyman's like, on behalf of my client, don't strip him of the title. He will be defending it at SummerSlam. Question is, who will be defending with? Well, we had 6 men come out. We thought, hey, if we're going to get that multi-man match, we were supposed to get Extreme Rules after all. But instead, these 6 men would be split up into triple threats. The second triple threat would feature Elias, whose debut album comes out next week. I don't know if that's real or not. I know he's got a Netflix special coming out. They've been teasing it. Maybe that's the teaser. But If there is an Elias album, I'd buy it. They should give Netflix subscribers a discount on it, or give it to Netflix subscribers for free. Because with Netflix, especially those who have been with the network since day fucking one, like I did. So that's like it's a triple threat. Number 2 would be Elias, Bobby Lashley, and Seth Rollins, who unfortunately would not get his hands on Drew McIntyre, a big factor in his match against Dolph Ziggler. I'll address the Ziggler-Rollins match during Dolph Ziggler's segment. Our first triple threat would involve Roman Reigns, who lost in his match against Bobby Lashley at Extreme Rules and Action. It wasn't that bad of a match. Fans didn't shit on it. It was exciting. Some good spots in there, especially that suplex from Lashley on the outside to a table. And surprisingly, Bobby Lashley won. Outstanding one. I think everyone and their mother thought Reigns was going to win. Because he's the man who's faster than Rey Mysterio. More powerful than a locomotive. Or faster than the Big Show. Able to bury careers in a single bound. Super Reigns. His triple threat would be against Finn Balor and Drew McIntyre. Now, Finn had an okay match with Constantinople Corbin, and Finn won. I missed a little bit of the first triple threat. There was a little bit of storms going on today in Michigan, so power went out a little bit today. So, I missed the first half of the triple threat, but from what I saw, Balor was taken out early, and it was a fun triple threat opener. Drew looked good in this match, got some good shots, especially with the chair, using the triple threat rules to his advantage. And he did a cool dive move to the middle, taking out both Lashley and Reigns in the match. That was cool. Spot from him. But then, he'll come back from Super Reigns. Trying to go for spear, swimming punches a couple times. But then Balor did have him down for a sling blade, and he did nail. He did nail the coup de grace on Reigns until being pulled out by Drew McIntyre. And then towards the end, all three were back in the ring. I think Reigns was going for another spear and another Superman punch to somebody. But then McIntyre came in with a nasty headbutt to Roman. He got cut up bad. I saw the headbutt, and then later on I was like, wow, Roman bled from that. And then, despite the bleeding, Roman did get a Superman punch and a spear, sadly on Finn Balor. And sadly, Finn won the pinfall. He ate the pin. Why couldn't it be McIntyre? Hey, McIntyre's being well protected. I love his recent push with Dolph Ziggler. Who would have thought these two would be a good team together? And even McIntyre said it. Phase 1 was protecting Ziggler. Now Phase 2 is becoming Universal Champion. That means we may see a turn soon, but we'll see. When and if McIntyre turns on Dolph. The inevitable turn. So with Reigns winning, I think we kind of know what they're kind of building towards. Which I'll get to in a bit. But hey, I'd rather see a rematch of a match from the pay-per-view last night than seeing Lesnar Reigns 5. And more importantly, I'd rather see another rematch from a match at Extreme Rules than Jinder Reigns 2. So we could be getting that instead, but I'm happy we're not. But anyway, Reigns moves on. We'll see who we'll face later on in the second triple threat. Because the winner of, I don't think I mentioned it, that we have 2 triple threat matches, and the winners of those matches will face off against each other next week. I don't know if I said that or not. If I did, that's a reminder. So we're going to see who will face Reigns next week for an opportunity at Lesnar as our main event. Good triple threat to open us up here. Now on to our next affair, which involved the still Intercontinental Champion, Dolph Ziggler. He had a good Iron Man match. 30-minute Iron Man match. It was a main event. And the big talk is not about how good the match was. It's about the ending of the match being so sudden. It went to overtime, sudden death overtime. And McIntyre was thrown out early in the match when he beat up on Rollins and got the Ziggler disqualified. Ended up being a good factor, despite Dolph getting disqualified for McIntyre getting involved. He took advantage of the beatdown that McIntyre gave him, got like a couple falls in a row, because Rollins came up early. He got a couple falls early, and after that beatdown, Ziggler came involved, and it was 4-4 to end it. After Ziggler got the gut stomp delivered on him by Rollins, and Rollins couldn't pin him in time, in regulation. But then Sudden Death came by Angle. I'm happy they did Sudden Death instead of a stupid bullshit draw ending of a pay-per-view. Did not want a bad ending to a pay-per-view. We've seen too many of those last couple of years. At least it didn't involve Reigns. Anyway, we saw the match, and McIntyre came back in the match after being thrown out in regulation, and it was a shitty finish. And then, of course, Big Talk is the crowd chanting the clock countdown, and even caught McIntyre, Buddy Ziggler, and Rollins. I didn't see it yet, but on Twitter, somebody caught him saying the crowd's not being too good because of the clock. They actually want the clock back up. They took the clock down because the fans were chanting at it. They even booed it when they took it down and cheered when it came back. This is why we can't have nice things. We got non-woman main event. The fan in the crowd saying, oh, the crowd was tired after a 5-hour show. Man, Iron Man should have opened the show when the crowd was energized and not tired up from a 5-hour show. Some good points, but guess what? If we get another woman main event, this is why. Fans shit on this main event. And the match wasn't bad. It could have been better, especially the ending was shit. Quick, sudden finish. But match itself was pretty good. Even with, 5 falls in 10 minutes? That match got the crowd disinterested too. But anyway, Ziggler was in celebration mode after defeating Seth Rollins. And they got interrupted by a still not heel, Bobby Roode. Hey, if they can turn Roode, former frenemy, Randy Orton heel, they can turn Bobby Roode heel. Say it every week. But Roode wants an opportunity to challenge Ziggler in a retread of a feud they had on SmackDown last fall, as one of Bobby Roode's first feuds after entering the main roster last summer. And I saw that match they had at Hell in a Cell Live in Detroit. It was okay. So Roode got a match against Ziggler, but not for the title. They thought it was for the title, but it wasn't. A good match here, though. This is better than the matches on SmackDown. Roode got some good stuff, some big moves on the outside. Looked pretty good in there, but Ziggler came back with his big moves. He did nail the Famouser and the zigzag, and still couldn't take the Glorious One down. But it's not the Glorious One's best efforts to get back in the game. His knee buckled throughout the match, being targeted by Ziggler. And that knee would buckle, and it would be his downfall, as of course Ziggler would get the victory with a big super kick. So good match though, better than, like I said, better than match on SmackDown. It was cool to see Bobby Roode get a big opportunity to at least face the still IC champion, even if it was non-title. But he lost. Hopefully this means heel turn, but hey, if they're doing stupid shit with Bayley and Sasha, what makes you think they're going to turn Roode heel? God, this Bayley Sasha thing's stupid now. I'll talk about that later in just a bit. But as Roode was feeling dejected backstage after losing opportunity to pin the IC champion in a non-title match to get a future match, probably for the title, he bumps into Mojo Rawley. Will we have a feud between these two? They won SmackDown. I don't think they have a feud on SmackDown, but now they will. But first, Mojo Rawley, fresh off his series of matches against No Way Jose, or series of misadventures with No Way Jose, would end up taking on the Breezango-less Tyler Breeze, who was lost in the shuffle without his tag team partner who got hurt, torn bicep muscle. He's out for 6 months. Well, speedy recovery. Fandango, a lot of people getting hurt. Fandango's out for 6 months with an injured pectoral muscle. Goldust is out for a long time. He got both knees injured and surgically repaired. And Ruby Ryan's out for a little bit. I heard Jason Jordan's cleared, so we may see him back soon once they find a story for him, because we haven't seen Jack Gable lately. Alpha Reunion? And hopefully be treated a lot better than on Raw, than on SmackDown, should I say. Anyway, despite efforts from Breeze to look good here, some big kicks and stuff, Mojo's been on a roll. I actually like his heel thing on Raw. His new theme's better than his old one on SmackDown. At least give him some more TV time, give him some more space to explore his heel character. But in his new finisher, the tackle was cool as a finisher, but now his new finisher is like the Alabama Slam was his finisher. Bob Holly called. He wants his finisher back. But that's his new finisher now, and he won with that. So at least we're just moving up the ladder. While Breeze is going to be losing his billionth match soon, he probably have more losses than Kurt Hawkins. Now that Breezango's gone for a while. Now on to a stupid thing. Bayley and Sasha. This is the payoff? Really? After feuding off and on, friends, not friends, having good brawls the last couple of weeks. Especially that big turn from Bailey a few weeks ago. What did it do? Send them both to fucking counseling with Dr. Shelby and another lady. But despite the counseling not working, Angle's still letting him team up. What the fuck, Angle? And more importantly, what the fuck, Creative? They do not need to team up. We need a fucking proper payoff. A match, not what you guys end up fucking doing tonight. You know what I mean? We've been investing in the story, but you've fucked it up big time. Hey, but how can we believe WWE can do good when they fucked up AJ and Nakamura bad? So we give WWE Creative too much faith sometimes. We think something's gonna be great, then they fuck it up. Like AJ Nakamura. Oh, this should have been amazing. The booking was shit. Kick to the balls. Ding. And Bailey and Sasha's feud should have been great, especially they were going to NXT together. The whole story's been shit. On again, off again, friends. Then going to fucking council together, and then being forced to team up again against Dana Brooke and Alicia Fox. Lots of questions in this match. Why is Sasha and Bailey forced to team up again? Why are they having a match against each other? Why is Dana Brooke heel again with no explanation? Is she done with Titus Worldwide? We didn't see him at all accompany Dana Brooke. They would wrestle later on, but she didn't accompany them. Is she done with them? Because Alicia Fox is technically heel. So, is she a trainer? Is she done with Titus Worldwide? No explanation. Just like what happened when Mickie James turned heel without explanation when she teamed up with Alexa Bliss again. He became heel. So, no explanation. Anyway, opening the match here. Story was what was the drive match was okay. This is the backup story was the main focus here. And I seen Alicia Fox back on TV. She got injured before the Women's Royal Rumble back in January when she took a bump over the top rope and got hurt. So we haven't seen her on TV in a bit. So now she's back. And speaking of bumps, maybe towards the match, Bailey was being isolated the entire match for the most part. And then they all brought on the outside. And the stip was, if Bailey and Sasha didn't get along again, one of them be traded to SmackDown. Really, Angle? Really creative? She made an easy story to tell. And have a blow-up back to SummerSlam. But nope. May have something completely different. And stupider. Anyway, as Bailey and Foxy and Brooke were on the outside, Sasha's been hanging on the corner the entire time. Got into the fray. And she threw around Dana Brooke. I think she gave Dana Brooke like some sort of move on the apron. Damn, she got a big bump. Yeah, big bump that Dana Brooke took. And it ended up being a double count out. Because all four were on the outside. Then later on, Sasha's like, I hate you, Bailey, but guess what? No one's going to beat you up but me. And then she's like, I love you. All of a sudden, she's like, I never got to express my feelings before. I don't like to talk about my feelings, but I love you. Really? There's going to be a blow-off lesbian relationship angle? Hot lesbian action? Really? This is the payoff to the Sasha Bailey thing? A love thing? Really? We need a match, not this fucking love angle. God. And this is probably the most stupidest angle they did since Angle's son thing. Anyway. Now, we got an interview with Braun Strowman, fresh off his surprise loss against Kevin Owens in a steel cage match at Extreme Rules. I liked the cage match. It wasn't the best on a wrestling standpoint, but it was a good fight. Owens took a big bump near towards the match. He did handcuff Strowman at one point, but Strowman, being Strowman, broke off later on. And they both climbed to the top of the cage, and Strowman threw Owens off the top of the cage onto a table with fucking airbags. Really? Camera caught that. Should have got a better angle on that to hide that. But anyway, it was in the same city where Mick Foley fell off the top of the cell. But it was still a good spot, though. And Owens technically won the match because he was the first to touch the floor. So, it ain't going to hurt Strowman, but it's going to make him look silly. Of course, he still has the Monster in the Bank briefcase. I predicted it during the review for Money in the Bank. I'm going to say it again. Strowman will cash in at SummerSlam. I don't care who's facing Lesnar. He's cashing it. And then we're on to a match involving one of the most shocking things about last night. The B Team won. The B Team won the Raw Tag Team titles last night. I thought they were going to lose. You know, they've been getting the heat for the most part in the feud, getting the most wins, staying undefeated, and now they actually won. The match itself was okay, but the story of them winning, holy shit, that was a shocker. They would end up facing the Ascension in non-title action. Nothing much to talk. Man, the section's been treated like shit. At least we saw Revival backstage. Hopefully Revival gets a title shot soon. At least they'll making them appear on TV. Even if it's backstage, making people say, hey, these are the guys that beat up Roman Reigns and Bobby Lashley in 2 straight tag team matches on Raw a couple weeks ago. One by pinfall, one by disqualification. But anyway, Ascension got destroyed here despite looking decently early, getting some offense, trying to make them look legible. They got squashed to death, eventually by the B Team, double team finish, and a victory for the B Team. But the celebration, which I love the celebration throughout the entire evening, they were like in segments of Roman Reigns on the pay-per-view, and even on a WWE Now video, they interrupted an interview and celebrated and even crashed the post-show. The former champs would appear on the screen and say they would cash in their rematch, the obligatory rematch, next week on Raw. So would the leaders of worlds retain the titles or break up? They were like a tweet on Twitter from Matt Hardy about breaking up. So we'll see what eventually happens in the scenario. So, but that's the rematch next week. So now on with the next scenario, next segment involving the still Raw Women's Champion Alexa Bliss with Mickie James. Now her match, Extreme Rules match, I can't believe they get the Extreme Rules match to the women. But at least, hey, at least they used more weapons and it was better extreme than the match that Bliss had with Bayley last year. It was sloppy, but the story was Ronda Rousey was still suspended. And the suspension was supposed to be lifted on Wednesday, but it was added on a week when not only she would jump the barricade and attack Alexa Bliss during the match, remember it was Extreme Rules, anything else, Ronda Rousey showed up again tonight, coming from the crowd again, interrupting Bliss's segment, celebrating a victory over Nia Jax. Despite the interference from Rousey and from Natalya, who was cornering Nia, and of course Mickie James as well, Bliss would end up winning. At least they used trash cans and stuff. They were sloppy with the weapon using, but at least they used more weapons and better use of them than the fucking match with Bayley. And it was a little bit better. At least it was better than Asuka Carmella, but none of the women's match was pretty good last night for the most part. Anywho, like I said, Rousey did come out and attack Bliss during the segment from the crowd. And Angle came out saying that you were supposed to be done with your suspension on Wednesday, but as I just mentioned, Angle added a week to her suspension. But she will still be unsuspended in time for SummerSlam. And the inevitable got booked. It will be Bliss and Rousey at SummerSlam for the Raw Women's title. We knew that was the direction they were going in, and now it's going to happen. And in a short time in the WWE with only 2 pay-per-view matches, one a tag match and the other a singles match for the Raw Women's title at Money in the Bank, Rousey's been impressive in the ring. She's got some work to do, but at least for the most part, she's doing great. Her selling's good. And she's really doing well in the ring, wrestling-wise. Like I said, she's got a lot of work to be done, but guess what? She's really doing well. I don't know if she's going to win. She could. Hey, it's a Big 4 pay-per-view. It's in New York. She just got inducted to the UFC Hall of Fame, and WWE wants all the publicity they can. So they're going to probably make Rousey a champion. The only negative about Rousey's push is that other deserving women are getting put to the back burner and being on the lower mid-card on the women's division. I'll get to that in a minute. Before that, we had a match involving the Others of Pain against Dennis Worldwide. They were interaction the last few weeks. Now they had another match. AOP won. Not much to talk about. Besides Titus O'Neil, like I said, not being accompanied by Dana Brooke. Are they broken up? Like I said, no explanation of why Dana Brooke was a heel with a heel partner. So, no, that's WWE for you. Sometimes they explain things, sometimes they don't. They just do things like, hey, Dana Brooke's heel. No explanation, but hey, she's heel again. We don't know why she's here. We don't know why she's not retired from Y anymore. No explanation. Anywho, so after AOP squashed the hair like tennis wide, going back to the topic I just mentioned, that I like why she's getting a little wub. You know, hey, she's making big money for the company. She's a big draw. But unfortunately, her push for the women's title being all over the main title picture for the women's division on Raw is putting other deserving women on the back burner on the C list of the Raw women's roster, and that's Ember Moon is a big example. Instead of challenging for the title, since Rousey's taken over that title picture, as I just mentioned, Ember's been feuding for the last few weeks with the Wyatt Squad, beating Sarah Logan Liv Morgan the last 2 weeks. She would end up taking on Sarah Logan tonight. Of course, still without Ruby Wyatt, who's still hurt. At least it's a sprain, so she'll be back maybe hopefully before SummerSlam. But the match was decent, a little better than the lit matches. Logan did have some good offense here, some big moves on the outside, a couple of submission attempts, some grappling here and there. And then Moon did a comeback, some big kicks, and of course, big suicide dive onto the outside. But Liv Morgan would get involved a little too many times in the matchup. In one distraction, getting drop kicked by Ember, just as she was about to nail the Eclipse at one point onto Sarah Logan. Logan would capitalize on that and would pin Ember Moon. I read later on that not only was this Sarah Logan's first singles win on main roster, it was also Ember's first singles loss on Raw since entering main roster after Mania. At least Ember's treating a little little flub there. At least Ember's being treated better on Raw than what Asuka's being treated like on SmackDown. Anyway, look on the mighty have fallen with Asuka's booking. Went from being a supernova to becoming just another jobless face. Losing at Mania, then losing 3 times to Carmella on pay-per-view. Trying to stay to fucking Ellsworth. WWE creator can fuck us up sometimes. Now on to our main event. Our second triple threat match. Winner would face Woman next week. And of course, winner of that match would face Lesnar at SummerSlam. It was Elias who sung a little song about Buffalo. His opponents tonight against Bobby Lashley and Seth freaking Rollins. My favorite part of Rollins' entrance, if you saw it, there was a guy up against the barricade near the entrance ramp wearing a Bullet glove. She like headbanging the Rollins' theme. That was awesome. I was in that area, like up against the barricade, like right next to the Titantron stage for Raw back in 2012. Review of that shows on my channel. And the only positive of being in that seat now than when I was in that seat up against the barricade near the stage, no pyro. We were right next to the pyro. So when pyro went off, it was like boom, boom. Especially when Kane had pyro, the fire would literally, we could feel the heat from that pyro. At least now you sit next to that area, there's no pyro there to scare you. Ain't little kids. So, but that was a funny spot with that guy headbanging. And you could see it from the corner of the camera, the guy headbanging. That could be memed. WWE's doing memes now, the SummerSlam ads. Vince is out of touch anyway. Another good triple threat match to finish off the show here. Like I said, this one was decent with the 2 triple threat matches being bookended by okay stuff. Lions look pretty good here. He has some good offense here. Especially some big drop kicks, some big knees. He took out both his opponents with knees at one point. And did have a couple, I think he did have a little one-on-one battle, a little revisiting of his match with Rollins at Money in the Bank when Rollins was IC champion. Elias did mention that in the song, saying, I should be IC champion right now, but Rollins cheated, which is true. Rollins did win with the tights at Money in the Bank, so there you go. But then I think we did see Elias and Lashley. We thought they were going to have a little feud. They did have some interactions after Mania before that horrid feud Lashley had with Sami Zayn. So then They were put on the outside. Not as many weapon spots as in the first triple threat, but still was a fun triple threat with Rollins looking good later on, trying to regain momentum after losing the Iron Man match against Ziggler on the pay-per-view Sunday, coming into the Falcon Arrow combination. And he did try to go for the stomp a couple times, and I think he did do the stomp at one point on Elias. He did do the stomp. And then Lashley would break up the count. And then with Rollins taken out temporarily, Elias would get nailed with the spear. And the 1-2-3 victory for Lashley. By the way, that spear was preceded by a vertical suplex. So, Lashley wins. And I knew it. When they set up these two triple threat matches, I was like, it's going to be Lashley and Wayne's too. Damn, WWE can be some predictable sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, you know, it was Wayne's in one and Lashley's the other. It's like, it could be like Wayne's and Lashley. I would love to have seen McIntyre and Rollins. But it's Lashley and Wayne's too. As I said earlier, teasing this possibility. At least I would rather see these two face off again than seeing Jinder and Wayne's too. But sometimes the sequel ain't as good as the first thing. When it comes to movie sequels, sometimes you think the first movie's so good, you think the sequel's going to be better than the first. Sometimes it's not. And you also can say that when it comes to Wayne's matches with Brock Lesnar. The first match at Mania 31 was good. Then the other matches, especially this year, the last two matches and the Greatest Royal Rumble and Mania 34 were fucking horrid. So hopefully the Lashley Wayne's 2 will not be as shitty as Wayne's and Lesnar 2. And there's only one of two ways this match can go next week. Either they do 50-50 booking and have Roman Reigns win next week clean on Lashley, because Lashley beat Reigns clean and you need to still make Roman look strong. And build up again the man who is faster than Rey Mysterio, more powerful than a Big Show, able to bury careers on a single bound, Super Reigns. Or Brock Lesnar shows up next week, causes a DQ, triple threat. That's the only logical step besides a clean ending. Like, we don't want Lesnar Reigns form. I'd rather see a triple threat than see another one-on-one match. But we had a multi-man match for the Universal title last year, which was a fatal four-way. And it was a good fatal four-way, even if fucking Lesnar retained. Because it was Lesnar, Reigns, Samoa Joe, and Braun Strowman. That was a good fatal four-way. So, I know it would suck to do another multi-man match for the Universal title at SummerSlam for the second year in a row. But I'd rather see a triple threat than Lesnar Reigns form. Just like back in Royal Rumble 2015. We thought we were going to get Cena Lesnar 3. And then we added Seth Rollins and the match was fucking awesome. And that made me think Rollins was going to cash in at WrestleMania because he was still Money in the Bank at the time. And I called it. Just like I may call Strowman cashing in at Summerslam. And I think he will. Doesn't matter if it's a triple threat or a one-on-one match. So that's my little prediction for next week. Either Reigns and Lashley 2 will end either a clean victory for Roman, 50-50 booking, and make Roman look strong. Or screwy ending with Lesnar coming out and causing Lesnar to say, I beat up both guys. They ended up being DQ'd because I interfered. I get no match at SummerSlam. Then backfire, Batman. Triple threat. So, that's the thing. Either Reigns wins clean or get a triple threat. With a screwy ending from Lesnar appearing. That's my thing. We'll see what happens. Next week, a little bit rambling tonight, but yeah, that's my style. So with that being said, you've been attacked by the review from Zach. See you next time, everybody. Good night.